In the previous dynamics of market video, we covered up characteristics of different markets, and I did not cover graphs. So today, that's exactly what we will be doing. We'll be covering different graphs with regards to grade 11. We'll be doing the total revenue, the marginal revenue, the average revenue, and so forth. There are a lot of graphs that needs to be covered in grade 11, so I want us to cover those graphs. And here are the basic concepts that you guys have to know. Make sure you familiarize yourself with this concept. It's very important. All right, so if you want to do well in true or false, matching, or giving one word in economics, then you literally have to know key concepts. That is going to help you a lot. So let's talk about price determination in perfect markets. So we have the curve there for a market, and on the right hand side we have the one for firms. So price changed in perfect market is determined by the forces of demand and supply, right? So in a perfect market, price changes will be determined by the forces of demand and supply. So when new firms enter the market easily, the market initially each new firm entering forces the price down. So when the new firm enters the market easily, each new firm entering will force the price down. So remember that in perfect markets we have same sellers who are firms that are selling the exact same product, right? So when more people enter that market, it means that prices will go down. Let's look at the first graph of market. We have S and S2, and we have this blue line which is for demand, right? So, and we have price on the left hand side, that 5 and the 10. So when a new supplier enters the market, right, we have supply 1, supply 2, the price will drop. Just know that when a new supplier enters the market, there will be a price drop from 10 to 5. And a new firm entering the market will shift the supply from S to S1, and the price of the market will decrease to 5 rand from 10 rand, right? The individual firm has to change the same price as the market. So if they were selling lettuce for 10 rand and a new firm enters the market, the price of lettuce will go down to 5 rand, and the new firm entering the market also has to charge 5 rand. So it does not mean they can change the price. If they charge higher, like they charge 10 rand, they will lose customers to other competitors, right? Because products are the same. And remember that individual firm is a price taker, and the demand curve is a horizontal line. That horizontal line that you see from D, let's say from D to D1. So the price for a firm is determined by that horizontal line. All right, guys, so we have other key concepts here which you have to familiarize yourself with. You can jot them down so that you can read them all the time and prepare. So what you have to know is that the effects of cost and revenue terms you also have to know, so that we can do the other graphs which you find complicated. So we have public company stakeholders, profit maximization, everything there. what it means. There you have it, because when you know all these things, guys, it will be easy to answer the matching questions, true or false, and all that. But if you don't know this part, then the economics true or false will always be difficult for you. Make sure you know this part. So the first graph that we'll be doing is the total cost curve. So I hope you know what is a total cost from the key concepts that I have given you. So we have the description of the curve in the middle. So you know that this is a total cost curve, and total cost equals to fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed costs are costs that do not change with regardless with the total output produced, and variable cost change with regards to our total output produced. So if, let's say, we are producing bottles, plastic bottles, if we produce, no matter the amount of bottles we produce, fixed costs are like rent are those that remain the same, and then variable costs are those that change in proportion to the amount of product or output we have produced, right? So those are your total cost. The cost is the cost of all the units produced, or is the sum of the variable and fixed costs. So here you have cost and you have quantity. So your total cost will increase when production, your total cost will increase when quantity increase. So when you produce one quantity, there is the price below, the cost is below 10, and when you produce 2, it's going up, I think it's at 10. When you produce quantity 3, there is going up, 4, 5 is up to 20, like that. So total cost increases. This graph says total cost increases as quantity increases. And what makes the total cost to increase is those variable costs. And the second curve, it's the marginal cost. So it refers to additional cost incurred to produce one more unit of a product. So marginal cost equals to total cost over quantity. So it refers to one more additional it refers to additional cost incurred to produce one more unit of a product. So it's curve when you produce, let's say you're producing 60, you produce 1, the cost is 5. You produce 2, the cost is going down. You produce 3, it's going down. You produce 4, and you produce 5, it starts going higher. So it depends. When you produce less, it still costs a bit higher, but to a certain point, right? It will go down to a certain point and then starts increasing again. So the pattern of the marginal cost curve first decrease until it reaches the lowest point, and then it starts to increase, slope upwards. So that is the marginal cost. It's total cost over quantity. On the table, you have to know how to calculate this. So I've given you. And then we have average variable cost. So this is calculated as variable cost over quantity. That's average variable cost. Yes, the average variable cost refer to variable cost incurred per unit. So it will start high, you see. For one quantity, the cost will go high and then reach the lowest point and starts going up again. So is variable costs over quantity. The AVC has a U shape, remember, and here we have the average total cost, and is calculated as total costs over quantity. The average cost has a U shape as well. So it refers to the cost per unit of production is equal to the total cost divided by the number of units produced. And we have the fixed costs. Remember, fixed costs do not increase regardless of how much output has been produced, so fixed costs remain the same. Yes, so fixed costs are costs that remain the same irrespective of the level of output. Example include rent, insurance payment, etc. So that line remain constant, right? The total fixed cost line remain constant no matter the amount of output produced. And then we have variable costs. Variable costs are costs that change with level of output, as I have said. So it goes up with regards to the amount of quantity produced. So the more we produce, the more costs we incur, right? That is easy. And then now you have to know how to calculate this table. It's very important. So as we have previously said, is that for you to calculate variable costs, let's start first. The fixed cost will remain the same regardless of the output produced. And then here we will have variable costs. And then in the the fourth row, we'll have the total costs. Now, for us to get the total cost, we need to say fixed costs plus variable costs. So you're only giving quantity, fixed costs, and where you do not have, like for D, E, and F, you have fixed and variable, but you need to find total. And for A, B, C, you are given fixed costs and total costs. So in order for you to find A, you will say 260 for total cost minus 100 for fixed cost, and you will get A. And for B, you will say 340 minus 100, and you will get B, because total cost is both fixed cost and variable cost. So you will subtract fixed cost from those three amounts to get your variable cost. And for C, you will say 460 at the bottom minus 100, and that will give you C. And then for D, you will say 100 plus 0 will give you D. So fixed cost plus variable cost will give you D. And then for E, you will say 100 plus 80, you will get E. And then for F, you will say 100 plus 110. And then that will give you F, right? And then for average total cost, you will take your total costs. You will take your total cost and divide it by quantity, right? So D was 100 divided by 0. That will give you 0. So for total cost of E, let me give you the amounts there. Yes. So for total costs, yeah, for total costs, that's how you show you how to calculate D, E, and F. So now what you have to know how to calculate is that one for total in average total costs. So average total cost, it's the total cost. Those it's 100 over 0 is 0, is 100 over 5, 36, 100 over 10. Oh, sorry, I used the fixed cost, not the fixed cost, the total cost. So you will say the amount you get at D divided by 0, that will be 0. Then you get the amount you get at E, that will be 180, right? Divide by 5. And then F will be 110. 110 divide by, not 110, 210. Divide by the 10 of the quantity, and that will give us 21. And then the G will say 260 of the total cost, divide by 15 for the quantity. And then for how to get 17, they did 340 divided by 20. And for you to get H, you will say 460 divided by 25, and that will give you H. So for the marginal cost, which is change in total cost over change in quantity, right? So let's start at the beginning. You will say 25. The quantity at the bottom there, it's 25 minus 20 as the denominator. So denominator will be 25 minus 20, and then the numerator on top will have 460 minus 340. So you will say 460 minus 340 over 25 minus 20, and that has to give you 24. And then for the 16, you will say 340 minus 260 for total cost over 20 minus 15. That has to give you 16. And then for K, you have to say 260 for total cost minus F. At F, we have 210, and that will be over 15 minus 10. And then for you to get J, you will say the amount 210 that you got for F divided by 10 minus 5. And that will give you J. And then for E, you will say F minus E, which is 210 minus 180 over 10 minus 5 for J, right? Is it J? You just go up like that. So that is how you will calculate marginal costs. Yeah, for let's try to get to 24 at the bottom there. You say 460 minus, I'm trying to do example for you, 340, and all of that will be, all of this will be divided by, we're going to go to the quantity side. We'll say 25 minus 20, close bracket, right? And then for 16 at the bottom, we'll say you will get 340. Let's have brackets, 340, and that will subtract 260, and that will be divided by quantity. So we'll have 20 minus 15. That's how we'll get the 16. And then for you to get K, you will say open bracket, 260 minus, for you to get For us to get H, we said 460 minus 360, 340. And then for us to get 16, we say 340 minus 260. So we say 260 minus 210. Yes, divide by, we go to the quantity side. So that was 260 divided by what? That was 15 minus 10. That is 15 minus the 10. So that will be close bracket. And then we will have, for J, we will have 210 minus, that is 210 minus 180, and that will be divided by, let's go to the quantity, 10 minus 5, and then we will also have, for I, we will have 80 minus 0 divide by 5, open bracket, 5 minus 0. So those are the way you calculate. So when the quantity is 0, marginal cost is 0. That's why we have a dash at the beginning. So that is how we do our calculations. I'm just gonna get rid of all that. I hope you guys understood what was required. What was required for this table. So we just did the short run cost concepts, shape of the curve and calculations. So now we will do the long run costs. So total cost in the long run increases. You see, this is how it is. It is the value of all sales that have taken place. So it is total cost. In the long run, now we have total revenue. Revenue is income, sales. So the more quantity we produce, revenue increases, sales increases. So here we have total revenue is equals to product, not product, price times quantity. It is a straight line that slopes upwards, and then we have marginal revenue. It refers to the additional income, just like marginal cost, received from selling one more unit. So marginal revenue also remains the same. In a perfect market, it is represented by a horizontal line on the level of market price, and then marginal revenue equals to total revenue over quantity. Is the one that we just calculated, that complicated one. That's change in total revenue over change in quantity, the one that we just did now, where I was writing on the screen. And then we also have average revenue, refers to the revenue earned per unit. So average revenue equals to total revenue over quantity. It is also a straight line. And then we also have economies and diseconomics of scale. And economics of scale means a reduction in the unit cost of a product as a firm's product increases. So when you produce more, economic of scale means when you produce more, your cost decreases, and diseconomic of scale occurs when average unit costs start to increase. Yes, so this is for the long run. Now you also have to know how to do this table, just like I've shown you. Average total revenue equals to price times quantity. That's total revenue. And then average revenue equals to total revenue over quantity. So for C, you will say 10 divided by 1. And then for, what is this? D, you will say 18 divided by 2. And then for A, which is total revenue, you will say 8 times 3. And then for B, you will say 7 times 4. The 7 for the price and the 4 for the quantity will equals B. And then, yes, we have seen that. And then now we have change in total revenue. So that will be 30 minus the amount you get for B over 5 minus 4. So that will give us the F. And then for E, you will say B minus A over 4 minus 3. And just like that, for 6, for the 6 in marginal revenue, we got it by saying A minus 18 over 3 minus 2. So that is how you calculate that part. So take note, guys, of this, that AR and MR at quantity 0 do not exist, like here. Also, the value for P and AR are the same. P and AR, yeah. In the perfect market, AR and P curves are the same, whilst in the imperfect market, MR lies below the AR curve. Thank you very much for watching grade 11s. Until the next one, bye.